$1 million referral, most of them will kind of overlook it. So yeah, I think people are still kind of, in fact, I talked to somebody this morning. They're like, oh yeah, I'll see you at 2. I'm like, 1 o'clock. East Coast is 1 o'clock. They dropped back an hour. So anyways, hi Shanti, how are you? So we might be struggling a little bit, I think, with people on the, anyway. So nonetheless, we're here today. Hi Jessica, hi Bobby, hey Michael Bishop. What's going on? Hi Angie. Want to introduce somebody real quick here. We got somebody new to the group, Stephen Cable on top right corner here. Stephen recently just joined with us a couple days ago, actually. So I go to the wrong meeting. Yeah, some people would see already going to the wrong meeting. Geez. Let's see here. No. See if I can paste this. Give me a second, guys. Get people still kind of calling and checking on this meeting here. I apologize. Stephen, do you mind introduce yourself real quick? Kind of say hi to the group, let them know where you're at and kind of where you're from, kind of thing.
Yeah, I could do that. A little bit of an icebreaker. Stephen, I'm in Hawaii on Oahu. Had my license for about 3 years and just basically got a cold call from Chris and just kind of hit it off and decided to start talking a bit more about what kind of opportunities we had here. And before you know it, here I am.
Before you know it, here you are. Awesome. Yeah. Well, excited to have you. Thanks a lot, Stephen. Yeah, so he's new here in Hawaii, but he's been in the business. He's had a license for about a couple of years now, right? At Keller Williams. And so, yeah, now we're here joining the team and excited to have you. Looking forward to seeing what you're going to do this moving forward in 2024.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. All right, so tell me something good. With the 9 of us on here, it's like the 9 Musketeers. We got to have some good stuff here. Tell me something good. Something exciting, something new. We got all guys on our cameras on here. We have nobody else cameras here. It must be not hair day today or makeup day today.
I started working with a new buyer yesterday that's not narrowly focused on interest rates. She just wants to buy a place, and no matter what the interest rate is, she wants to go for it. She's sick of renting, so I'm psyched about that. It's good news.
I love it. See, there is some truth to that, right? It's all about people what they want. It's their pain threshold, and sometimes it's not about the interest rates. It never is. I feel like interest rates, inflation, recession, those are just things that happen. They come and go. If you guys been in the business long enough, I mean, decades ago, we had interest rates that were crazy. This is not the first time this has happened. We've had crazy inflation before. It's not the first time it's happened. We've had recession before. It's not the first time it happened. And people still buy and sell real estate all the time. So good job, Michael. And a great way to make that happen, my friend. Awesome. Hey, there we are, Jessica. There we go. And Angie. I love it. There we go. Awesome, guys. All right, tell me something else good. Something good. We got something exciting. There's a ton of 10 of us. We can make it happen. No, going once, going twice. Nothing exciting in lives. No babies, no pregnancies, no marriages, no fiancés, none of that stuff. All right. No first-time home buyer that Michael. All right. Well, we're going to make some good changes coming up in a couple weeks. So we're excited to see what happens here. We're on the threshold of 2024. I can't believe it. Honestly, we're in November. Thanksgiving is in like 2 weeks. Can you guys believe that? And then next thing is Christmas. Next thing is New Year. So anyways, we'll go jump ahead, and we got Duncan on here today. Kind of give us an update where we are. I think there might be some good news maybe on the horizon a little bit for interest rates.
Yep. I got an update on rates. Rates hit a new multi-decade high a couple weeks ago, but they've come down since then. I'm going to share my screen and give you guys a couple of charts showing that.
Right.
So rates hit a high over 8% a couple weeks ago, and
there we go. It works.
Here's a chart showing rates since for this year, how they've trended up until this month, beginning of this month, end of last month. And then last week, there were a couple of key reports that came out and dropped rates significantly. Well, one was the Fed did not hike interest rates last Wednesday, and Chairman Powell was very dovish, they say, which means that he was basically saying they're not going to hike rates anymore. They don't need to, with economic reports showing some weakness in the economy. And on Friday, there was a payroll report that came in weaker than expected, with about a third as many payroll new jobs being reported as last month. So you see a lot of signs of weakening the economy and inflation having come down quite a bit. I talked about all the details last month on a call here. And I also recorded a video, a 4-minute video. I put these links in the chat. A 4-minute video on Friday explaining in detail why mortgage rates are headed lower in coming months and years. So if you want more details, I can get kind of geeky on the economics. You can see that video. You can search for my name on YouTube. There's also a 15-minute video interview I did with Karan Davis a couple of weeks ago, also giving an update on mortgage rates. So if you want to find out all the details of why rates are headed lower, check those out. So even with rates going so high, prices, as you guys know, have held up pretty well. And the reason why prices have held up and continue to be pretty strong is because inventory has been so low. People don't want to sell and rates are so high. And you have a situation where you got people in their homes with a ton of equity. If you look at the average loan to value of homes since 2008, the last 15 years, the average loan to value ratio has dropped from 81 to 42%. So percentage of equity has tripled in 15 years, and prices are a lot higher. So you got all these people with a huge amount of equity, and they don't know how to access it. A lot of people don't know how they can access equity. This slide just shows some of the ways you can access that equity to buy another place. If you want to buy another home and you have a huge amount of equity in your home, you can either sell it to buy a new one, or if you don't want to sell, if you want to hold on to your 3% rate, you can get a HELOC. And we've got a couple of new products that are helping. You can go with a local institution and it can take 3-4 months to do a HELOC, and they're pretty strict on their guidelines. Or we have a couple of different options when you need to get money fast. One is a 5-day HELOC, they call it, where you can do an online approval on a line of credit. It's pretty quick. The rates may not be quite as good as the longer ones, but if you need to close fast, you can get an online approval and you can close without an appraisal really fast within a week or so. We're using that 5-day HELOC. We also have a bank statement HELOC for those people that can't qualify for a normal HELOC, and the strict guidelines there, where we just use the bank statements instead of tax returns and pay stubs. You also can cross-collateralize your home for a new purchase. Many people don't know that. If you have a lot of equity, you don't need to get a HELOC. You can actually use the collateral from your home and buy a new place. If you have enough equity, you can buy with a zero down, or you can just use that for a down payment on a new purchase. So that's another option. There's also a new option here where you can buy before you sell. If you have a place that you're selling, we've got a lender that instead of having to take out a bridge loan with the high rate and the high monthly payment, you can just do a buy before you sell, where it's a flat fee, no interest, no monthly payments, and you close, and then you can just close on your purchase, and then they just close things out when you sell. You pay off that balance after you close on your sale. So instead of having a contingency in this competitive market, you can use the buy before you sell and access that equity beforehand. And then finally, for people that are at least 62 or even 55 for some proprietary products, you can use a reverse mortgage and access that equity. You can use that equity to refinance and get cash out, and then you can use a reverse mortgage to purchase. I hosted a CE seminar explaining how you can do that. So there's all these different ways that you can use a reverse mortgage for equity, and then other ways, if you're not a senior, to access your equity to purchase other properties. So you can always you see our reviews as always on Google and Yelp and Zillow. But you can always reach out to me if you want to use any of those products I mentioned, or if you want to talk about anytime you want to talk about mortgage rates or anything else. Thanks, guys.
I love it. Thanks, Duncan. That's a good advice, actually. This is a kind of a creative piece that you guys should be looking at too, is people, again, as Michael Bishop just brought out, he had a buyer who doesn't really care about interest rates, but if you kind of find a different value proposition for them, maybe it's a ton of equity they have no idea they have. Most people have never done a home evaluation of their property in years. They really just don't know what they don't know. They could be sitting on 3 or 4 or 5. They could be sitting on $500,000. You have no idea of equity in their home. Maybe it's a different conversation now. It's a conversation about maybe leveraging their investment and potentially building something out for them for dividends down the road, right? So it's a different conversation. It's not related so much about interest rates. It's about opportunity. So again, using this investment property as an opportunity. Duncan, just curious, I know you're not going to use, I can't hold you to it, but what do you think potentially we would get back down to maybe come next spring or summer for interest rates? Maybe you have a forecast on that, an idea?
Yeah, I think rates are probably going to stay in a similar range. They've already dropped over 0.5% just in the last couple of weeks to under 7.5 on average for 30-year fixed. I think they're going to not drop that fast the next few months, but by mid-year or later next year, we should see rates drop more significantly. So we'll see rates drop, and we'll probably see us on the mortgage side, we'll see a boom in refinances within the next couple of years.
Yeah, obviously. So
and you're going to see a lot more competitive situations. So buyers that you can qualify now, if they find the property they want, they're much better off buying now and refinancing later rather than waiting till they're going to be competing with dozens of people on the nice properties.
Yeah, 100%. It's like you guys, they say, right? You date the rate, marry the house. So, you heard it 100 times, but I'd rather get into a home that I don't have to fight 50 buyers over and ask $100,000 over asking price versus getting something at fair market value with a little bit of a higher interest rate. And then down the road, I can refinance. It just makes all the sense in the world, but it's how you present that to your client to make them understand, educate them in that situation, right? Because all they see is like 8, 9 months ago, 10 months ago, we were 2.95. That's all they see. And they don't want to hear anything else other than what happened to that rate. Well, we're no longer there. That was Disneyland. We're now in not Disneyland. So yeah, it's just the education piece, right? Educating your client, you being the smarter person. That's why you pay what you do. So, all right, awesome. So yeah, just understand that. We're gonna look at a floodgate I see potentially here come next summer in 2024, where if the interest rates do get back down below 6, if they do, or even at 6, 5.5, you're going to see a whole lot of buyers that right now on your fence that are going to be rushing you like a madhouse, like it's Nordstrom's 2-day sale on Christmas, Black Friday, and they're going to want everything under the sun. And now, though, they are going to be competing against 50 other people. So it's a good piece to have. Duncan, I appreciate you so much, sir, for all that insight and keeping us up to date, my friend. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Take care.
Awesome. All right. So a couple of things. One thing, too, I just want to make sure everybody. So the book of the month, if you guys don't know that we do a book of the month here, 9-Figure Mindset. It's a great book. It's on the Team Freedom Facebook page. It's on the Team Freedom Google Class Drive. 9-Figure Mindset by Brandon Dawson, who is a prodigy of John Maxwell, Grant Cardone. Obviously, understand that. Grant Cardone, the 10X rule guy. And then you got this guy, 9-Figure Mindset. It's a great read. So far, I've been reading into it. It's a great read, you guys. I'm a huge proponent, again, of reading. If you're not reading, you're dying. If you're not feeding your mind with something amazing, you're dying. So I am the hugest proponent on reading. That's why I have a book a month every month. So if you guys haven't got it yet, look into that 9-Figure Mindset. As far as our speaker today, unfortunately, we had situations come up on the rise where they had an emergency. They could not make it this morning, so we had to push them off to another week. So you have me. Darn it. You guys were expecting somebody else, and it was like going to a show, right? No, just kidding. So anyways, we're going to have a conversation because I was just realizing that Thanksgiving is literally 2 weeks away. And I know most of you guys, I can't believe it. Most of you remember it was 2023, January, New Year's Eve. I was celebrating New Year's Eve in 2023. And now we are looking at, again, Christmas of 2023. The year has gone by. It's flew by. And most of us, and I'll raise my hand to that too, have looked and evaluated our life and our business. And this is not anything just about business. It's about personal life too, because I believe personal life rolls into your business life. One has something to do with the other. A lot of pieces in your life, maybe you haven't reached. I've declared 2024 is the year I get my shit right. And excuse my French, but it's the year I get my shit right. There's a lot of things I feel like in my life, personally, I'll be completely transparent, that I have unfinished business, unfinished things that I have started and not completed, unfinished behavior patterns, things I want to change in my life, and I just have not finished them for one reason or another. Secondly, it's now time to button those up. It really kind of resonated with me. For those who don't know who Rick Jihad was, again, we went to his funeral, his celebration of life last week. An amazing, amazing, iconic individual. He was EXP, 45 years in the business. And what really struck a chord with me was I actually have known Rick for almost well over 15 years. And Rick, prior to being an EXP, was kind of a hot mess. I'm not going to lie. And I'll say that with love. We all have been there. We're kind of all maybe a hot mess in our personal life and our business. And although from the outside, on paper, it looked like he was remarkable. And everybody looked up to him as, the guy had it all figured out. But internally, he didn't. And a lot of stuff was wrong. But my point in saying this is that he took the time in the last decade to really get his shit right, get it figured out, get back on top, get things under control. And whatever it was he had to figure out, he figured out. But now again, none of us have any idea of when our day is up. None of us do. And in fact, it could come tomorrow, it could come this afternoon, knock on wood. But the reality is he spent the last 5 years that he was at EXP, gratefully, even finishing up and buttoning up some things with his life personally and his business to get where he's at. Speaking of that, his son, his oldest son, actually was not a realtor, but he got his real estate license in the last 8 months before his dad passed away. Got his real estate license, was living in Southern California, decided to move up to the coast where his dad was at to join him in his real estate business. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because at some point, Rick was trying to get all his stuff together. Things were not still together, but he wanted to get it orchestrated and get it right. And nobody knew what would happen. And here we go. Rick, unfortunately, did lose his life. And my point in saying that is that it's like, it made me think, man, I got to get my shit together. Some things that's just not done in my life, things I need to finish and complete. And there's a reason why I'm not reaching tasks in my life. And what I want you guys to do is today look inside internally at whatever it is you got going on in your life. And maybe this is a Dr. Phil moment. I don't know. You can take it for what you want to take it as. But the reality is, if you can't figure out what's going between your 2 ears, get that figured out, the rest of this makes absolutely zero sense to your life. I'm telling you right now. As long as I've been in this business, if I pushed and shoved and tried to figure out the business methods and all this behind it, if I didn't get my mind right and get things figured out and orchestrated and get under control, my personal life or whatever else I got going on, nothing else mattered. So I kind of wanted to spend some time today, and I know whatever it is, maybe this is going to be uncomfortable for you guys. I get it. Talking about a lot of things that are unfinished and not done, maybe uncomfortable. But maybe some of the things you've done this year up to this point just have not been finished yet, and yet you want to reach there. Whatever it is you're fighting with, whatever it is you're dealing with, we got 60 days. 60 days to make it happen. And are you where you're supposed to be at? I don't know. That's for you to ask and for you to say your own self, right? I was talking to Ross earlier before the call, and Ross was talking a little bit about that, where he's at. I'm going to put you on the spot, Ross, a little bit if you don't mind, and have you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, baby, love it.
Where you're at and kind of some of the stuff that was segued into this conversation.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for, being willing to go there, man. It's not easy to go there, right? And so I had this epiphany the other day. I was at a listing appointment and I was sitting there and the seller was going back and forth with me on value. I mean, something that we all do, right? We are always trying to overcome that objection, at least get everybody on the same page. And I was sitting there and I'm like, listen, in my mind, in my heart, I knew that the house was worth X amount. You could not convince me otherwise. And I'm, with full belief, was not willing to want to list this house way over, right? That's just not me. I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm trying to get a sale here for the client. And this seller was convinced otherwise. Long story short, I'll pull it together. I get in my car and I go, why am I willing to negotiate with myself when I know my value? I was so sold on the idea that I knew that this house was worth X amount. I knew this was the facts, this was the data. But am I doing the same in my own life? Or am I always trying to negotiate myself to a higher value when really I'm not given the true value of my effort? And so, I called Chris and I'm like, man, why are we negotiating with ourselves when we have these big goals? We have these big dreams. We know our full potential. But yet in some areas in our life, we don't negotiate, right? Why is it when it comes to our dreams, our goals, we negotiate? And so I was like, dude, we need to get on and we need to be more accountable, because if I can tell a seller with certain this is his value and I know my value, why the hell am I negotiating my value all the time when, I need to show up for myself before I can actually show up for that seller, my wife, my kids, my loved ones, right? If I'm negotiating with myself, I'm never going to be able to add value in all those areas of my life. And if I can't add value to those areas of my life, well, then I'm just not living to my fullest potential and not living a fulfilling life, And for me personally, this year I had a lot of goals that I set out for, and being complacent with where, okay, yeah, my bills are paid. Yeah, I have a great quality life with my family, but is it to what it could be? I keep on telling myself, well, next week. Well, here we are at, like Chris said, 60 days until the new year. And I have a conviction that I could have done so much better this year. And it's not like a pity party. This is a celebration, because not even being able to have the awareness that I could do more is more harmful to me than actually accepting it today and say, you know what, no, I know I can do better. And I'm not going to look back yesterday, but what can I do today to get my shit right? So that way I can hit those goals and do what the things that I'm worth doing. Right. And so Yeah, that was a little bit of my call there. Sorry to go on for a bit.
Yeah, I love it. Well, it's true. I think that ultimately, as humans, we always try to find an option or a way out. We give ourselves a secondary option, right? I always get people when I'm coaching people, and they're honestly, hey, Chris, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to make my calls every day. I'm trying to go on 2 appointments a week. I'm trying. I'm like, hey, when you use the word trying, your mind triggers that you actually already gave yourself an option out. You've justified already your ability to not to show up because you use the word try. Trying gives you leverage to get out of it. So it's never, I'm trying to make my calls today. I'm trying to lead generate. I'm trying to do 1 appointments. I'm going to do 1 appointment. I'm going to do more calls. I'm going to sit and do this. So that's just word placement is everything in your mind. And as far as we're set, that's what happens. Like, we can't continue to be comfortable sitting in our place, because when we do that, we don't get innovative. We don't change. We don't adapt. We don't grow. And I'm full, like, taking transparency to this, you guys. I am in this space where I'm at right now. I had to move 3,000 miles across the Pacific Ocean to shake my shit up, to get myself to do something different. And I tell you what, being here has changed my life in the last 90 days or 60 days. I've already changed dramatically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, everything, because I'm in a different environment, because I'm shaking things up a little bit, and because I'm looking at things completely different. The year has flown by, and yes, I still didn't get to reach some of the goals I wanted to reach at for this year, but I am now on this path to create this momentum starting now, to create it moving forward in the first quarter of 2024. So anybody want to share? And this, again, this is this open forum. This is no wrong answer. This is no uncomfortable position. This is like true transparency. Unpeel the onion. Where do you feel that you reach your goal this year or not, and why? Let's maybe talk about some of that.
Can I say one more thing too before people share really quick?
Yeah.
So, one of these ideas that we have is that, like, the goals that we have, or that maybe we are behind, or we're not doing the things that we need to do. Sometimes, the days and days that go on, that we feel that pressure that, why am I not doing these things? It kind of turns into a snowball effect. But I have such good news for you. Literally, version of yourself right now. That quick. You could get off this call and you could just start putting in the effort, and all of yesterday and all of the past, things that you've let go could be taken care of today. And it literally could be changed and transformed instantaneously. I do believe that. And that was something that racked my head. Well, the year's over. Well, no, we're going into a new year. Today's a new day, new opportunity. You don't have to think that, months of, not hitting your goals means that you can't hit, the future goals. It can change right now. So that was my epiphany. Wanted to share it.
I love it. And it's true. Everything is a moment. It's like you're always one decision away from anything in your life. You're one decision, one choice, one action away from changing your life. Just one. Not 100, just one. It doesn't take you forever to quit smoking. It takes you a minute to quit smoking, but it takes you years to think about quitting smoking, if you're smoking. But it takes a moment for you to quit smoking. So where are you at right now with the way you're thinking, your thought process of what you want to accomplish moving forward in 2024 that you need to change today or tomorrow? One thing, not 100 things, one thing. And this is, again, not something that has to do with business. Maybe it is business, but I'm telling you right now, it should start maybe with something in your personal life. Because if you can't, again, get figured out what's going on in your personal life, the business will never take off either. One plays into the other, 1,000%. You can, like, intentionally and consciously tell yourself to do something every day. But if you don't get the mind right and get it ingrained to create the habits and the discipline, then absolutely not. I have this morning, my goal was to start getting back up at 5 a.m. every morning, because I was not doing it. I was slouching off. I was 5:30, 5:45, 6, 6:30. And I saw myself declining down a path that I knew I was already letting go of my discipline. This morning, 5 o'clock, alarm goes off, and I told myself, oh, I hit snooze. But then guess what? I told myself, Chris, this is not the person that the disciplined self would want to be. The disciplined person wants to get up at 5. And so I got up. I had to get up because I told myself I was going to be disciplined to do it. Where are you holding yourself accountable yourself to stay disciplined to the things you need to do to get yourself to be the place you want to be at? All right. Anybody at all? Ross, thank you for opening up and saying that. Anybody want to share anything at all that maybe they're challenged with, that they want some help with, or something that they want to talk about? Personal, business, whatever. This is an open kind of circle, if you want to call it, to help you guys figure out what it is to move to the next level. And don't be shy, please. I'll tell you guys anything you want to know about me. I have zero qualms. Go for it, Steven.
I think I'll just share something short, but maybe a few weeks ago, and I've been trying to practice this more recently, is just I realized that there's a lot of things that we already do that we don't like to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so the motivational factor was always kind of a bottleneck for me to do stuff that I didn't like to. But then I realized that I already do stuff that I'm not motivated to do. You know, when I worked a job I didn't like or something, or had to go do errands I know needed to be done, I just went and did them. I realized that was kind of the only reason that I wasn't doing anything was just me in particular. And so I decided that even though there's things I don't like to do, I'm just going to do them. So it wasn't about trying to get myself motivated. I just thought, do I need to do this? Yes, I'll do it. And so if I cut out the feeling part of it and just get right to doing it, I started completing a lot of tasks that I'd been lamenting for a long time. And so now my thought process is not, I don't feel like doing it. It's kind of like, I don't care if I don't feel like doing it. It's something that's going to get done because it has to be done. So now I just do it. And so I've been creating these lists of things that I like to do and things that I've been lamenting to do. And I try and do 3 things that I've been lamenting or putting off for every time I do 3 things that I like to do. And I do that every day. And so I just have decided that I don't really care if I don't want to do those things. I just go do them, and then all of a sudden they're done. Kind of freeing to just think about how I don't have to feel if they're important or feel that motivation. This motivation is not really part of the equation anymore. You just do it.
I love it. It's so true. Motivation only gets you so far, and then it's discipline. Motivation has a time threshold date on there, and it only goes for so long. It's like a rocket booster, and it will go for a certain time, and it blows out. And the only thing that keeps you going is either you hit that momentum and it takes you on its course, or you have discipline, habits, and rituals that continue to drive you to the way you need to go. And I like what you said, Stephen. Sometimes it's not even about feeling about whether you like it or don't like doing it. It's just it needs to happen. It needs to happen, right? Because every morning you wake up, you need to take a shower, brush your teeth, you need to eat some food. Otherwise, your body falls apart. You need to do it. Whether you like to do it or not, you need to do it. So those are great methods. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. And also, I like that doing 3 things. Writing down a list of things. Write down a list of things you really don't like to do. And start pulling one over to the other side every day. Make that a goal. And when you do and accomplish that, don't forget to celebrate that win. That's another piece that people fail to do. Celebrate your wins, the small wins. Every little thing that you do that you didn't really want to do, but you did anyways, is a win. And those small stackable wins, undeniable wins, creates major, major confidence. And that rolls into whatever it is that you move forward in your life. Thanks for sharing that, Stephen. Appreciate it. And I get it. This is the key. You got to do the things that you do not want to do, but you got to do it like you freaking love doing it. You really do. You got to do it like you freaking love doing it. That's the key to success. Showing up and doing the things that you don't want to do, but you do it like you love it. And that's like a big mental psyche right there. Like Stephen had to say, you got to eliminate some of that thought and feeling out of it in order just to make it a logical aspect. I got to do this. But then you can show up and do it with a smile. I got to lead generate today. I cannot go home until I make my 10 calls or 15 calls or 20 calls. Right? If you don't have enough leads to meet, match, or exceed your goal right now, nothing takes precedence to lead generation, period. Period. That is it. No other white noise, no other white stuff. It's just lead generating and follow-up. 2 things right now. If your business is not where it needs to be at or where you want it to be at, if you do those 2 things right now and put your full energy, time, effort into lead generating and follow-up, you will be busier than anybody will ever be. I'm telling you, that's how you rocket boost your business. Lead generate and follow-up. 2 things that require pretty much no thought process. You just got to do the work. Okay. But then you got to figure out what that looks like. Lead generate, follow up. Well, I got structures that I actually got Stephen on. And, here we go. You want a simple thing. I have a lot of people that I talk to that say, Chris, I just need to know what to do. Show me what to do. Give me a plan. Give me a plan of action. Give me like a recipe and I'll do it. 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z, and I get 4, 5, 6. Like, what do I need to do? All right, here you go. This is what you need to do every day. If you're that person that needs to be just like, I need to see something on the wall and I go attack it every day and I don't have to think about what I got to do and I'll be successful, I got a method for you. It's called the 410. The 410 is something you guys should be doing. It's a method you can print out, put that shit on the wall, and you could memorize it, live it, and die by it. And if you do, I promise you, you will be busier than you want to be with business. It will naturally come to you. Okay. But it's a matter of doing things that some people just don't want to do. 10 things. Add 10 new contacts to your database every day. Does that seem hard? I got a lot of people who look at me like I'm crazy. 10? That's a lot. Are you kidding me? 10? Well, seriously, how long do you spend on Facebook every day? How long do you spend on TikTok every day? How long do you spend wasting your life away on the social media stuff? Probably an hour to 2 to 3 hours a day. You telling me you can't talk to 10 people in 3 hours? The second piece is that they're hesitant to talk to people because they're not scripted and dialogued. They don't know what to say. They're inferior. They feel insecure. They feel intimidated because they just don't know what to say. And I got a ton of people who say, oh, I'm good at that. Really? How good are you? If somebody were to say something to you tomorrow in line at Starbucks and ask you a question, what would you say and respond to that? Most people don't have an answer. They don't. Not when you're put on the spot. When you're scripted and dialogued, it becomes second nature. And then you become that person that just rabs off stuff all day long. They become so powerful that nothing can stop you in a dangerous and a good way. But adding 10 new people to your database every day is powerful. 10 people a day, 7 days a week, that's 70 people times 4. That's 280 people a month you're adding to your database every month. Do you know how powerful that is? If you take 1% of that, 2.8, 3 deals, 3 people end up becoming a client right now out of that 280. That's crazy. And then the other 278 of those people, you put them into a CRM and you drip on them and you do your touches that you should be doing, which most of us may be lacking in. I was the first one who was horrible at follow-up. But if you put that into a system, it starts to churn into water and nurture that fruit tree. And eventually those trees are going to give you fruit. I promise you that. And when they decide to buy or sell, they're going to think of you because you're top of mind. This turns into a machine. The problem is most people don't have that method or that map or a plan of how to actually make this happen. So I just say, keep it simple, everybody. If you're not where you want to be at right now this year in 2023, if you didn't accomplish the deals you wanted to accomplish, the units you wanted to accomplish, the GCI you wanted to accomplish, the revenue, the money that you wanted to accomplish this year, this is where we got to start looking in the mirror. Because you guys have all the talent in the world. You're the most amazing people on this planet. And every one of you has the most unique abilities ever because God made you that way. You need to tap into that unique ability, whatever that is. And you know what unique is? Anybody like, okay, this is strange. Does anybody got their idea what their unique ability is? Like seriously, who has a unique ability? Do you guys know, anybody know it off the top of your head? Ross? I know this is kind of crazy, but do you really know what your unique ability is? Everybody has one on this page. Everybody. God designed you to be unique in some way, shape, or form. And you have an amazing ability to do something. What is it? You may be able to figure that out. Figure out what that unique ability is, because that might be pouring into other people, helping yourself help other people. You know, you want to see everybody else win, whatever that is. This is what it looks like, right? How do you find that a unique ability and tap into that talent? That's the key. And I know that people are very, very shy from having this conversation. Most people do not like to have this conversation. I didn't for years because I feel like I was put on the spot and I had to show my insecurities and my inefficiencies that I was not what I wanted to be at. It took time and time over time to do this. So yeah, the second piece of that is not adding 10 new people, but is to reach out and touch 10 existing people in your database. Not only are you going to add 10 to your database every day, but you're going to touch 10 existing in your database, which means your cell phone probably has 300 to 500 people in it for sure. If you tap into every one of those people and made a conversation to every one of those people, I promise you something's going to come from that. Something. Okay. I had an individual, a guy that I started training who actually couldn't even speak English. He's a Chinese guy. It was back in Sacramento. I started coaching him. I mean, from the very, very, very beginning, he couldn't even barely speak English. And he couldn't even actually look at me in the eye when he shook my hand. I had to train him kind of do that even for open houses. He did scripts every day for 6 months. I taught him how to shake hands, the whole thing. And I also told him to go through his entire database of his phone and call everybody on his phone and start a conversation with them. Lo and behold, 2 people on that phone were investors that he didn't even know existed on that phone. They ended up buying 3 investment properties from him each, and then referred a friend that bought 3 other rental properties. They all bought within 8 months of him starting his business. That was all because he went and did what I told him to do. Go get on his phone and call everybody on his phone. You had no idea they even existed on there. I bet you had a lot of people on your phone that you have no idea who exists on there either. In fact, I got my phone right now. I can tell you now, there's probably 400 names on here. I have no idea who they even are. I just don't know how they got on there. That's the truth. But that even makes more compelling reason for me to reach out to them and express my concern of how I need to enter. How did we meet? I'm being completely authentic here and open and transparent. You're on my phone. We were connected at some point. How did we meet? And I apologize if I don't know what it is. I'm going through my database right now, and I'm trying to clear this all up. So can you give me an idea of where we met? Oh, that's where we met. Awesome. Great. By the way, I need a favor. At some point, I'm going to ask a favor. Cool. What can I do for you? I've got recently my business. I'm going through my database right now, and I'd like to know, who do you know that I should know is looking to buy or sell invest in real estate right now? Who do you know that I should know is looking to buy or sell invest in real estate? That is a question you need to ask in the exact format. You don't ask them, you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell? Because they can easily say no to that. That's an easy yes or no question. The question you need to ask them is, who do you know that I should know that's looking to buy or sell invest in real estate? It makes them stop. It makes them think. They have to actually get committed to it. Who do you know that I should know that's looking to buy or sell invest in real estate? Well, Chris, I don't really know anybody right now. Let me think. No, off the top of my head, I don't really think anybody. Awesome. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate that. By the way, in the future, if you're open and looking to buy or sell invest in real estate, or you know somebody is, please, will you think of me? I want to be your go-to person. And I'm going to send you some information every quarter just so I remind you who I am. Fair enough? Don't forget to say fair enough, because nobody can say no to fair enough. That is like a universal lingo that nobody can say no to. You're kind of a jackass if you say no to fair enough. So at the end of it, fair enough? Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Cool. I got your approval. They cannot say no to fair enough. Now you have in your system, you get all the information, but that is actually a call you make on everybody in your phone call. Everybody in your phone you have, go through that list of people and do not judge anybody that you think they're not going to buy. I had a friend of mine who actually used to coach soccer part-time to 8-year-olds. He was a realtor, but he coached soccer for 8-year-olds. One of the sessions in the training, he had to leave early, told the kids, I got to go, because he had to go show a house for a client. And one of the kids says, oh, where are you going? So I got to go show a house. I'm a realtor. Oh, the kid says, my parents want to sell their house. And he got in touch with the mom that was actually on the sidelines that brought his kid, and he had a conversation. It turned into something, by the way. And that was from an 8-year-old kid who was coaching his soccer. Don't ever underestimate anybody that cannot offer you or show you or steer you to somebody who potentially could be a buyer or seller. So many times we limit ourselves to thinking, yeah, she's not going to be. No, they're not going to. No, I can't get them. You know, you're part of an amazing operation here at EXP. We're international. We're global, meaning that we sell real estate all over the world. So wherever your database goes, you have potential to sell something to someone anywhere in the world. It's called a referral. And you get a 25% referral for something, for doing that, for your database. Tap into that. Stop limiting yourself and creating boundaries that do not exist. Okay? Be open-minded and change the way you think, because then things the way you look at are going to change too. I promise you. But yes. So yeah. Again, anybody brave enough to spend out anything here at all? Anything they're going through that they want to talk about, the challenges with, whether you're brand new, whether you're just starting up, whether you're stuck in a rut, maybe you've been here doing this for a long time, but you're just stuck in a rut and you just feel like you're spinning your boat in circles here and you're getting nowhere. This is going to be like a Ferris Bueller's Day Off, isn't it? Bueller.
I mean, I'm going to say something. I'm super blessed that I don't have that I'm at that point in my life where I don't have to work this hard, right? I've done it. I've beaten the pavements, and I do have 2,500 people in my database, and it is going back through the phone. I mean, it's a simple task, but just reaching out, saying, hey, we haven't talked for 10 years sometimes.
Yep.
And like you said, I don't remember some of these people, but what a way to just get reintroduced and call them and say, I'm going through my phone and you're in here, and how come when we meet? I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really, my goal now is just to build my team. And I had a little party. Actually, you missed it, Chris. You were going to come over Friday.
Food poisoning.
Great. It was a great presentation. Nobody showed up until after the presentation. They came for the wine and the food. And that worked out great because it was more relaxed. And then I sent them, we videoed it. So I sent it to them, and all three of them are going to come over. And they say, I don't need convincing, because I can see, everything you send me, I see the value. And so it's really just reaching out, and it doesn't have to be a stressful situation. And timing is mostly everything. I mean, we're going towards the end of the year. A lot of people, it's a good time to move at the end of the year, or is January a good time to move? So people, have to figure out their own path and when it's time for them to make the move. But everybody is busy, and that's good. Busy doing some things, busy doing nothing, busy with a foot laid up. What do I got to do? I can't walk, so I freaking have to go through my phone or connect with people. So it's a good reason for me to, instead of, oh, woe me, I can't go do what I want to do, I have to do something. So it's sit on the couch and heal and get on a phone or get on an email or whatever. So the simplest things can sound so daunting and tasking, but they can be very easy. You just got to have that peace of mind. And, I went shopping the other day and I saw this, and it just made me so happy that I bought it, because it's like a happy face. And it's just, you can just throw it around and the face turns up with this happy face on it. And I just loved it. So I kind of have it sitting here on my couch with me to just be happy with that I'm laid up, and there's a reason for it, right? Everything happens for a reason. And so I'm going to get productive while I'm sitting on my couch healing. So yeah, I'm just lucky and blessed that money, finances are not an issue. And I remember struggling, and every time, my husband and I would fight, it was over money. I mean, it just was that way for years and years, until the kids get out of the house, and then you have your life back, and then it's like a new chapter. So I'm almost 70, and I'm still kicking the pavement, still love real estate, but at a different level now. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't have to be one of those realtors that doesn't have a retirement party. I'm going to have a retirement party in 2 years. And it's just going to be to retire to something else, which will still be real estate related, but it just won't be with buyers and sellers. So I'm excited about my journey, and I'm loving EXP. It's been a year and a half almost, and the year has flown by. I mean, tremendously. But I probably closed, this is my best year since 2005, so it was a great year. There's no excuses. Interest rates, they don't bother me. I just say, remember when they were 18%? Remember when they were 12%? I mean, I had a shark loan at 12.5%. That was nuts. So yeah, just so many things to be grateful for.
I love it. You're right. Thank you for sharing that, Cindy. And yes,
and young kids, you've got such an opportunity. If I'd had EXP as an opportunity when I started at 35, I would have been retired years ago, or at another level anyway. But what an opportunity. So exciting.
100% on that. Like, I live right there. If I had EXP in the very beginning too, holy moly, I would not. I'd be in 100 level too.
Yeah.
You got like literally the golden key in your hand at this point in your life and your business with EXP. It's monumental. I don't know if you guys have really let that sink in yet, but if you've been
huge
around,
opportunity.
Yeah,
huge opportunity.
Huge opportunity. And it's about going back to basics. You're right, Cindy. It's going to basics. Good for you to get back on your phone. It's all about going back to basics. The things that work are the basic stuff. Having phone conversations with people, literally going back.
Connection.
Yep. It's all relationship based. So if you can get back to your relationships and connecting with them, then that's what it is. A lot of people will mistake, movement with progress, right? I'm busy, but I'm actually not really doing much at all. I'm not getting much accomplished, but it sure justifies in my mind that I'm actually out there doing something. No, be very intentional with what you're doing right now. If you're not intentional or purposeful with your activities right now, you will get caught off and sidebarred. Next thing you know, you're going to end up 100 miles off course in the middle of the ocean and have no idea how you got there. And you're like,
on Oahu.
Yeah, you're going to be literally somewhere in the middle of nowhere with a paddle. And you're like, how am I going to get back there? How am I going to get back there? Well, it's really coming back to basics and just getting back to what you need to do. I'm telling you right now, your phone is the most powerful piece on this planet. It really is. You have more contacts and database in there than anything at all. And it's right in your hands. You just got to take advantage of it and make an opportunity where you plug in and start making those calls. And yes, I would say I'd break those calls. I would go through your phone and literally break people into different groups, right? If you don't even know who these people are, that's a group, obviously. If you have people that you talk to on a regular basis, maybe in the last 90 to 120 days, that's a different group. Ones you haven't talked to maybe 2 or 3 years, that may be another group. And you have different conversations for every one of those groups. Every one of those.
Just start at A. Just
Yeah.
start and go through the A's. Knock it off. Then
Knock it
go
off.
through the B's.
Yep. You know who it is? You know who it is. Great. Be super authentic, though. Don't try to be staged and scripted. Just be real. I'm a human being. I don't know who you are. I apologize. Where can we go from here? Where did we meet? Or I haven't talked to you in 10 years. Yes, I am so sorry. How is the family? How are the kids? How's life? That's a great, authentic question, right? You got to get back to those basics of relationships and really digging into the people you know, and then regain some friends that you maybe had been gone for years. That's even more amazing. So it's a twofold purpose here. But nonetheless, it is creating some habits and rituals within you to continue to build on moving forward in 2024. Start now. Because you're going to be 60 days ahead of schedule if you start right now. Literally. That means you'll be on almost a full-fledged, they say it takes 66 days to create a new habit. I'd say you'd be right at that point of creating a new habit if you started today and start implementing something today. Maybe it's one thing. It doesn't have to be 10 things. One. Just start one. Maybe it's getting up earlier. Maybe it's getting up on time. Maybe it's targeting your leads. Maybe it's calling one expert. Do whatever you got to do. And then on top of that, I love the power of one more, the Ed Milet, power of one more. Whatever you're doing, the power of one more. I told myself I'd make 10 calls a day. Well, I made 11. If I was going to do 2 appointments, I'm going to do 3. Whatever you're going to do, the power of one more, you'd be amazed what comes from that one more thing. Yeah, there we go. The book. And it works. It's a mind shift, the way you start thinking about things, because you're willing to take on tasks now and do one more. And every day you do that, you start to take more and take more. And then you get in that mode of your mind is like, I'm no limits. I'm going to go for it every day. Okay. So this is hopefully of something of value to you guys today. Apologize. We had to kind of improvise on some of the conversations. I kind of like these conversations. I want people to get more integrated. I get it. It's not comfortable to have a conversation and share people what's going on in your head. Or maybe you think I don't have any problems at all. And then I love you too. If that's the case too, which might be a fallacy within yourself. Okay. But anybody who thinks they got all their shit together, they probably don't got their shit together. This calling that what it is. They call it a spade a spade. So, you know, there's always some place in our life that we just don't have complete, or we wish it was done, or I wish it was done and finished, or I wish we're at that threshold of where we're at. Everybody has something. It's something. So figure out what it is, big or small. Just get into the rhythm of starting to create these things, knock them out, finish them, complete them, check them off. When you start checking things off, man, it feels amazing when you start checking things off. Your life will change dramatically when you start checking things off with a checklist and accomplishing things, big or small. Okay? And that's what this group is for. We are here to help you empower yourself to elevate to whatever it is you want to do this year. There is nothing that you cannot accomplish. I'm telling you right now. If you put your mind to it and get around the right group of people to help support you and push you along the journey. I like that tail, Michael. That was a tail that kind of just crossed through the photo right there. So yeah.
Dog's always trying to get on the Zoom.
Okay.
I like it. That's awesome. Well, welcome. Anyway, so yeah, we got about 6 minutes. Anybody else want to add something real quick here before we kind of call this meeting here? I mean, anybody want to share something last minute gut? They just want to throw something out there? A moment of courage? No courageous people today.
Hey, Chris, I got one more thing that I thought about since you've been talking about this.
Yes.
And the back to basics is so true. So, you know, for those, you know, I can't speak like Cindy, you've been in the market for quite some time, but for myself, I got licensed in 17. So like, I'm hearing you talk about it, get back to basics, make the contacts, make the dials. And it is so true because last year at Build, Tony Robbins had said, guys, most realtors have been order takers rather than actually preparing and doing all the things. And for me, one of the biggest things that I realized in my business was 17, 18, 19, I really like focused on my skill, worked my craft, did the contacts, everything else. Well, 19, 20, and 21, the business just landed on my lap. If I'm going to be truly honest, it landed on my lap. So when I went into 22, I had a different perception because for 3 years, 8 to 10 million, 10 million plus, it's just coming in. So then when we get to 20 to 23, now or 22 to 23, now I'm like, whoa, I feel it now. I can't be an order taker anymore. I have to make the contacts. I have to do the things. So sometimes I think a lot of it is also the market that we were conditioned, and now we have to go back to what you're saying. It's just, sharpening the skill and getting back to it, and being aware that maybe actually I did get a ton of business in the past, and that's why I am so complacent and comfortable. That for me, that's what it was too.
Oh, totally. Yeah. When you start to become entitled, and I use that word loosely, I'm not saying that you are personally, but a title in the sense of work. In 2020, 2021, we became kind of almost semi-entitled because business was falling out of a tree. You could shake a tree and a buyer or seller would fall out of it into your lap. And then they would actually, if you're selling a home, they'd have 50 offers at $100,000 over asking price, and you'd be in escrow in 24 hours. Yeah, that's completely unrealistic. That is not how the real estate market actually runs. But at that point, you're right. We were all order takers. We weren't having to fine tune our skills. We weren't having to go back to basics. We weren't having to make those calls. We weren't having to do the hard work that actually is involved in being successful in this business, because we were kind of bypassed around that. Now we're back to reality, and here we are. We're faced with an opportunity where now what? Now what? Do I have to? They aren't shaking out of trees anymore. The tree is completely barren. It's empty. The fruit is now gone. It's been harvested. I actually have to go hunting some more trees. I have to go hunt some more orchards. I have to go find some other people. I got to get back to my skills. And maybe you didn't have any skills because maybe you weren't taught any of the skills. That's okay too. That's all right. There's nothing wrong in saying that. You don't know what you don't know. Now it's time to plug into people and find out what those skills are required to make that happen. Plug into people that have been doing this long enough to let you know what you need to be doing differently to retarget, to retransform, to rethink your mind, to get into a space in which you need to be where you need to be at, where you deserve to be at. That's what I want to tell you, where you deserve to be at. You deserve to be on top. Everybody on this call deserves to be on top. There's not one person on this call that falls short of that opportunity unless you do it yourself. Unless you shoot yourself in the foot and put your own anchor on your own ankle and drag yourself down to the bottom of the sea. You guys are super talented. That's why you're here. You were smart enough to pick the idea of being an EXP because you saw it was an opportunity to be on this mothership. So here we are. Let's take full advantage of it this year, coming forward in 2024. No more excuses, no more issues. Plug into the people. You have multiple layers here of EXP as a top. Our Team Freedom is another group. Internal teams that we have, like Dylan, the agency. There's a bunch of other groups we have all over our groups that are plugging in and sharing ideas and concepts. There's more than enough. Now it's a matter of if you don't show up and you don't succeed, it probably was something that you decide to do on your own, because there's so much help here. Okay. And we all are on the same page wanting to help you succeed. Just FYI, Brent does have a business planning clinic that he's doing in Roseville next Thursday, the 16th. However, it's going to be streamed live on YouTube. All the information is on brentgove.com. If you click on it, there's a workbook on there too. If you want to download it, PDF, you can have it for yourself, and it'll all be streamed to YouTube live. You're welcome to jump into that. It's I think 9 to 12 Pacific Standard Time. So that would be super early, the crack of dawn Hawaii time, just FYI. But East Coast, you're 3 hours ahead. So just that way, it's putting it out there to you guys. If you want to plug in that, he's got an amazing speaker coming in to do the business planning coach for 2024. So just throw it out there. Just go to brentgove.com. brentgove.com. He has all of his stuff on there, and click on upcoming events. Click on local because it is local to him. And it'll have the upcoming 2024 business planning clinic they have, and it'll all be straight. It's in person, but it'll be streamed live on YouTube. So without further ado, then, I appreciate you guys all. Hopefully next week, everybody kind of gets back on the time change. I know it was kind of probably a little trigger for everybody figuring out the time difference, but we will be, again, 8 a.m. Hawaii, 10 a.m. Pacific, and 1 p.m. East Coast time, FYI, for next week, for all the events this week, moving forward. Until the mainland decides to stop doing that time change thing, I don't know. I'm kind of glad I don't do part of it anymore here in Hawaii. We don't do the time change thing anymore here, so I love it. But, anyways, I love you all. I really do. And I want everyone on this page to succeed. I seriously do. So whatever it is I can do to pour out my soul to you guys to help you do it, if it means me crawling on my knees to show you guys that I'm just as basic and bare as the rest of you guys in this world, then it's where it all starts. Anybody can do this. If I can, you all can do it too. Trust me. I have a dog shit for a life, previous life, just letting you know right now. So I didn't come from anything. I had to work for everything and to claw, clamor, and drag to get to everything I wanted in my life. Everybody on this page can do it too. Okay. So we're here for you. Love you guys. Hopefully see you at the EXP Explain on Thursday, if you're that, and Friday tech class as well. So plug into those things. Crush it this week. Y'all have an amazing week, man. I love you guys. Go out and do your thing. All right. Bye, guys.
Dude, that